Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to today's live trading London to New York crossover with the Harmonic Scanner. Today's Monday, the 1st of June. There's a lot of news this week. As you know, the strategy that I follow is at the heart of everything in IM is the Harmonic Scanner, created by the founder, Christopher Terry. And really in our group, there are two main strategies. One is the Harmonic Scanner, and the other is we use Vibrata for BYOB, and that's what we follow. So if you are on the 7-day free trial, then you'll be in the Financial Freedom Movement group. So please make use of your week following us. There's about 8 hours of live trading. You don't have to look at all of them. It might seem overwhelming. It's like learning a new language. I know it was when I first learned it. I had to put sticky notes on my computer, trend line, you know, buy or sell. I couldn't remember which way round they were. But it's designed, we've got permission to give you a flavour, and then you can still come in on a 7-day risk-free guarantee. So you'll have 14 days, that's 10 trading days in total, to see whether it's for you. And we have, as you know, a lot of proven success. You can see in our Discord, if you join, the raining pips, which a lot of us post out, proof of evidence and of these recordings on our timelines and into various feeder groups. So once you've come off the Financial Freedom Group and made the jump, made the leap into the Ninja Traders group, then again you'll see a new member orientation and the units and an introductory videos. So please go through some of those. This is designed to be a bridge between the individual trader and the bigger community of over 200,000, because there are 100 sort of professors, if you like, in our top private university, all of whom are educating and doing various sessions on Go Live TV. And we form a bridge in the middle. We're homely, we're accessible, we answer individual questions, we provide a lot of time, and we're all on a journey. We're all always students and sharing what we do to help others along the way. And in turn also we get a lot of help of people who've come before us, and you know, that's what it's all about, working together collaboratively. So I'm just going to start sharing the screen and let's get down to it. So the first thing we always do, and we follow a system and a process. So if you are a system and a process person, then Forex is fantastic, because it is all about discipline and rules. We can teach you that. You can learn that as you go along. There's a lot of very good 5-minute videos. I do recommend you go into the back office, im.center, when you join, and work your way through the FRX English series. I won't actually show it to you now. It's under Academies in your left-hand menu. And that has a lot of little 5-minute videos to give you the foundation. What is Forex? Who are the players? What are the sessions, etc., etc. So just work your way through those. They're only 5 minutes, and it will tick the box and give you a tiny, simple little test just to say you've done it. And it's very confidence building. So after that, you can then go through the rest of the series at your leisure over a period of time. So the first, if you're not a process and systems person, then Forex also has something for you, because it's ever changing, and no 2 days are ever the same. So it's always interesting. So it's perfect really for whatever type of personality you are. You just have to learn to understand what your personality is, what your psychology is, because 90% of it is psychology in terms of trading. Do you like scalping? Do you prefer longer term trading? Do you like doing intraday? Do you like me, do a bit of a hybrid 1 hour time frame analysis, but I'm entering on the lowest time frame, etc., etc. And you kind of get a feel, and that's what demo is there for. We recommend, say, over 2 weeks, 100 trade demos. It's there for you to click that button, write down what you did right, what you could improve, share your charts with us. We have a trade surgery in Discord. You can ask us, anyone, our opinions of those charts. So the first thing we do every morning is we come over here to forexfactory.com and we have a look at the news. And the reason for this is we avoid red flag news on that day for that pair, trading 1 hour either side, or half an hour, usually an hour either side, to let the market settle down So this is on my local time. Just update your time in the top right hand corner. And also you can move from the bottom of the home page to the top. I keep the sessions timer up here because pairs, you have hot pairs. For example, Tokyo, JPY, Japanese yen is what you call a hot pair. The sun's up, people are in the offices, people are buying sandwiches, they're out and about trading in the banks, etc., etc. So your hot pairs to look at would be Australian dollar, Japanese yen, and New Zealand dollar. London session, the biggest session in the world, big pips there, and you will have 3 pairs, hot pairs for that: GBP, Great British Pound, Euro, and CHF, which is Great Swiss franc, stands for Confederation Helvetica, something or other, I think. Helvetica meaning Swiss. And then New York session, which is the one I'm doing, this crossover section. And so you can see in your local time zone, it's set to your local time zone, exactly where you are in trading. And I find that very helpful because pairs move, and there's a way of back testing this. We won't go into that today, but pairs move at different times. You can take trades 24/7. We now do crypto at weekends. So you just got to find out when you've got your free time, when you're going to focus on it. And it's not about sitting on the charts. It's about setting alerts, and it's about less but intense focus and enjoying what you do. That's what trading is all about once you've got over the learning process. So the first thing I always look at, or we always look at, Monday 1st of June, got bank holidays all across the euro and the New Zealand dollar. So that will affect, as long as one of the pairs is a hot pair or a tradable pair. So for example, it could be Euro JPY, that would be fine to trade because Japanese yen is not on a bank holiday. And then the American dollar has news out at 3 p.m. UK time. So we will not now be trading that because it will spike. It can spike the market. Bankers can, the big people putting, the big people who really are moving the markets, the huge players, often have a strategy that they want to fulfill, and they will use the news even though you think, well, that can't be logical. It's moved the wrong way, and I thought it was good news. You can't put a bias on the market because the market will do what the market will do. Just look at your trades, look at the trends, and look in the moment at what you're doing. Again, it depends on your trading style, because some people will be looking just at the lower time frames, say 5 minutes or 15 minutes, but some people like to look at what is called confluence. So before they'll take a trade, they like to see that the trend is moving the same way across the hourly time frame. So you have to learn these things and decide how you're looking at a specific trade, whether you're getting in and out quickly, in which case you might not be so bothered about the hourly time frame, or whether you think you're going to be in it for a bigger stop loss, a bigger swing, take more pips, and therefore you'll be staying in the trade longer in order to achieve that. So once you've looked at that, you then come on to your pairs. And I'm going to start off because someone messaged me just now about a particular pair, Euro USD, and we take our scans. I've just been marking some of them up today. So here we come to the scanner, which is plotting reversal points in the market. It's based on magic numbers that work, something called Fibonacci. You don't need to bother about, I can't even hardly spell it, never mind, I mean, if you want to Google whoever Fibonacci was back in the 15th century or whatever, I can't even remember what year, whatever, but it's very powerful and it works. So 89% of these scans, independently verified across 100,000 scans, worked. And if it's a D point there, then this will be a sell scan. Now these brokers, you can have a look. This is a new one, the M30 time frame 30 minutes. You can take your scans off any of these. It doesn't matter which trader you happen to be with for your account. Traders Way is the main feed, so I tend to look. I start on the. I look at mainly the hourly time frame. I have started looking at the 30-minute one. Most of them are similar. They might vary slightly from pip to pip, but I start with the Traders Way hourly and Euro Ord, was the one that someone said, can we look at where to put the stop loss? And this one's called a shark. So what makes a shark different? Sharks bite, we always say. You'll see that they have 2 entry points. Now, generally with most scanner setups, you can simply take the recommended scanner trade. You might have to use a bigger stop loss because it can take several days, if not longer, for it to generally work its way. Most of them work their way to take profit 2 or up to take profit 3. And again, just flick back through some of these scans. They will disappear off the end, which is why I like to draw mine on TradingView, so I've got them for the future. But you can flick back through and just see how price action has worked its way through the scan. So once we've looked at a shark, the first thing to note is that we only enter a shark if it reaches the second entry point or at least 50% of the way up to take profit 1. And we only want scans, or I do anyway, of a minimum of 80 pips. And that's because I like to put a pitchfork on the trend line at an angle. So that's 305 pips. So that's a nice big scan, and that would give me 100 pips per leg of the pitchfork. And then we look at whether it's solidified. Again, this is the shark, so it's slightly different rules, but that has moved 88 pips up there before coming back. So that is solidified and it's okay to enter. So look at your local time zone down here. If you're going to draw these onto your trading view, you can just take a trade off here on this. You don't have to come onto trading view. Most of us do our analysis on trading view and watch our pairs on there. Certainly when I'm in a trade, when I'm running a trade, I'm not looking, I'm on C Trader, not MT4, but I'm not looking at my C Trader. I'm looking at the pips moving on trading view, because if you start to look at the money movement on your trading platform, you'll go a bit crazy, because you know it's different emotions. So I just look at the pips moving and find that is the best way to work it. So from here, I think I did draw this one up. I'm pretty sure I did. Let me just double check, because I don't really want to go into how to actually draw it on today. I was thinking in the future to get into a routine, so let me know what you think. I was going to do Mondays of some chart markups and actually showing you how to draw the scans on, and then wrong one, and then Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, which I don't trade on a Friday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays looking more at trades and that kind of thing. But I was thinking of doing some special sessions on a Friday, which not every Friday, but a review of the week. Sorry, it's EURNZD Australia.
Like the sound of that, Sarah. So like every Monday would be kind of like how to get it all set up for the week.
Yeah, because right. I know people like that, but I thought, oh, I haven't really been doing it regularly, because I never know what people want, whether they just want to whiz through hot pairs and then onto other pairs and see what to take, or you know, whether we should do the beginning to end process, Paul. So if you like that idea on a Monday, I think we'll do that on a Monday. That's
Give it a go, see how it goes anyway, can't you?
Yeah, thanks. So let me just go to the hourly. So here we are. Sorry, it looks all these zigzags on it. I'll fade them out in a minute. So there's the D point, which is the 1st of June at 9. And there you can see it's there. So 1st of June at 9. So I did draw this on earlier. So what you do is you look, I'm not actually going to draw it because I've already drawn it. I'll start next Monday, but please message me or ask me outside of this if you want me to take you through beginning to end before next Monday on how to actually draw this on your trading view accurately. Because the key to using pitchforks, which is what I happen to do, you don't have to use them, you can use trend lines, is the fiddly bit is they must be drawn exactly on the end of the wick, accurately on the 1 minute timestamp, if not the 5 minute, because TradingView will only go back about 2 weeks. So if it's a very big scan, then you won't be able to go back all the way on the 1 minute. So just take your vertical line and you'll see at the bottom that says X point 27th of May. This is my local time. So set this to your, I'm UTC +2 if you're UK, UTC +1. So mine would be 27th of May at 11. Make a note of each of these exactly by pulling your vertical line across. Make sure you're on the 1 hourly. And then when you come over to here, make sure you're on the hourly time frame on your trading view. Let me take these off for you so it's a bit less messy. And make sure bottom right that your time zone is in line with where you are as well. So that's UTC +2, because TradingView always seems, I don't know if it does it for you, but it defaults for me to UTC +3 for some reason. So once you've drawn those points accurately on the hour, like you can see there, following the, it's always low to high to low to high to low, or vice versa. Check back that it looks the same. Yes, it does. And then you'll come down, I won't do it now, but you'll come down to the 1 minute. You'll put your pitchfork on, which you find on the left here. There's the scanner icon, that little 5-point star. And there's the pitchfork. So I put the pitchfork on, and it's always X to C to D. That's X to C to D on the hourly. And then come down to the 1 minute and make sure it's on the nearest high or low candle. And that will be because there's, this might look accurate, but there's 60 candles in the hour. So you want it on the very nearest point, because the pitchfork could be a pip or two off, because obviously on the hourly you've only got one big candle making up an hour time frame, and that means over a period of time it can move off by, you know, over a period of time 40, 50, 60 pips, and the whole point of these is that you can trade any time of day or night using old scans. You can see these lines in the background. This just happens to have quite a lot on them, and I keep them faded out in the background because then I can see, you can see here, you might not be able to see it, but there's pitchforks running through there, so I can see them as possible stall out zones. Or if price moved up here, then I'd be able to move into that pitchfork. It's valid. I will check back to make sure price has touched some of the points exactly, but that means I can usually find something to trade. I don't have to always use the current scan, but the current scan is the one that you default to. That takes precedence when you're trading. And again, another point of interest on this, you can see a previous scan and the points are similar, and that doubly verifies the scan, because it's confirming again that that point was a strong reversal point. And I think here on this one that maybe I should have moved up that previous scan's D point up to there. I didn't, and it will have gone off the scanner now, I think, and anyway it doesn't matter because this new scan takes precedence. But I might ask, I might double check that, because I've actually made that pitchfork in pink, which I don't usually, and that's to remind me that I need to check if I am going to move into that scan at any point, that I need to check that, what I think about that point of that previous scan, because I obviously didn't check it at the time to see if it did move up to this point, and I think this is the new point, and that D point should be up there. So, but it doesn't matter, you don't have to draw every scan, and you don't have to use every scan, and if in doubt, I always say take it off and don't use it. So I may well take that one off. It's just I haven't made my mind up this morning yet. So
I've got that, sorry Sarah, it's Kathy.
yeah.
I've got that, not the new scan, I haven't drawn that one yet, but I have got the old one, so I can send you that. It looks like you're right, I think I've redrawn the D point, but I'll send you the scan.
Oh yeah, thanks very much, Kathy, that'd be very helpful. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, because the same things happened this morning on GU. I've drawn that new D point, but on the scanner here it's still at this old point. But as I was literally physically drawing it, I thought to myself, do you know what, I'm going to shove it up there because that seems logical. But, you know, it hasn't yet confirmed it on the scanner. So you don't want to always sort of predict things that aren't going to happen. But that looks to me like it needs to be up there. So I've drawn it like that, but I made a note in the group, you know, to watch the D point. So I have drawn it like that because, you know, they do need to be accurate. So on EURNZD, where would we put the stop loss? Well, first of all, trading this strategy, we come down to the 1 minute. We're using a hybrid strategy of a 1 hour time frame analysis, but an entry on the 1 minute. And it's that enables us to keep to a 10 pip stop loss, as long as that stop loss is placed on the pitchfork, and except for GBP, Great British Pound pairs, which need a 15 pip stop loss because they are fast movers and quite volatile. And EN is the other one. So GBP JPY, GBP CAD, GBP NZD, GBP AUD, and Euro NZD. Those are the 5 pairs that you will need a 15 pip stop loss. So from the 1 minute, let me just put back on the indicators. Quarters theory, the 62 EMA, which is simply, I call it the 62 because that's what I'm used to calling it, this thick orange line. All you need to know about that is that it is the current trend, the current momentum in the market. It's the 1 minute trend. Price will always suck back to it. You can see there. And if price is below it, it's pushing it down for the sell. And as you can see here, if price is above it, then that orange line is supporting it as a floor. It's a rolling line of support and resistance. You will have heard those terms. And it's pushing price up for the buy. Price will always move between levels. You can see there it's touched perfectly to the pip, the quarter theory and the pitchfork, and rejected off. And then it's come back down. It's broken and retested that quarter theory, broken and retesting the 62, and it's on its way back down to this level. That's what it looks like there. And we'll just put on the 15-minute one. And this blue line is the 1 minute trend line, the 62, as it would appear if we were on the 15-minute chart. So I know that if the orange line here, it did just cross there. If it crosses, it's crossed above, so normally that would be a confirmation for a buy, and there is a confirmation checklist on this strategy, like there is on our BYOB and 25 to life. You have to trade using your confirmation checklist. That's when you'll start to have success, when you get the discipline of the rules. And once it crosses below, then I know the current trend is for the sell, because the orange is the current trend. So it's crossed the 15 minutes, and that says this is what price is now doing. Okay, so it's still in a strong sell mode. So where would we put the stop loss? Well, first of all, before we think about stop loss, where, you know, what are we thinking about this for an actual trade? Have we got 3 confirmations? So number 1, yes, we've had the orange cross the blue. Number 2, it's broken and retested quarter theory. So that is, and that's broken by 15 pips. We like a break off the pitchfork of 10 pips, but with quarter theory, it's not so important as long as it's broken it. You don't have to have the same bigger break and retest. So there's a second confirmation for the sell. And have we got a pitchfork touch, which is mandatory? You must have a pitchfork touch. If you look at the confirmation checklist, then you will see that is ticked across the whole trade sheet. So no, we do not have that on here. Let me just click that off. So, and in fact, I can see an old pitchfork running through there. So there's no trade on this at the moment. So what we're looking for, price is being shoveled down, and it's still below the 62, it's below quarter theory, and it's underneath the 15-minute. So what we would be looking for on this is how I mark it up from here. On the 1 minute, I get my trend line, and 3 to 5 pips away from the pitchfork, and I mark all my different lines in different colors, put an alert on there. You won't have the alert, you don't have to have the paid version of TradingView. There's a call app, always forget the name if you Google it. There's a free app to set alerts on your phone if you don't have that. So you don't have to have the paid version, but it gives you the alerts and some other things. Settings, I like to have my alerts in, I have my trend lines in green, my alerts are always in blue, and then I get the brush, and I'm looking for it to do 2 things: come to the pitchfork, to reject, I've drawn that wrong, come to the pitchfork, reject off, and come back up here. or come down here, break and retest, and decide it's going down towards that quarter theory and out towards these extensions. They're like Bollinger Bands on the BYOB, and they act to ping price back into the scan. And if the scan has failed, then it comes right down past stop loss, and then you don't draw the scan, and you remove it anyway. So once I've got that set up, I don't need to stare at this. And also, I know that when I come to look to take this trade, I know what I'm looking for. I haven't got to get brain in gear, because this is a precise strategy, and that's why we can use a 10 pip stop loss. So I'm only looking for trades in the direction of the scan until it's hit the median, unless it's a big scan of 60 pips per leg, say 240 or above. So actually, this could be one of the exceptions, couldn't it? So let's measure between our pitchforks. So, okay, then this is one of the exceptions. We can take buys or sells. If it's a minimum 80 pip scan up to 160, then we would only be taking a buy off this until it hits that median line. And then after that, it's fair game. But as it's such a big scan, you can look to take a buy or a sell. But why wouldn't I be looking to sell this at the moment? Because there's no pitchfork that it's pinging off, and pinging off the pitchfork, which is an aggressive line of support and resistance, because it's got, sorry, aggressive trend line, because it's got Fibonacci built into it as well, makes them highly accurate. There's no pitchfork, which is one of the confirmations. So my analysis on this, for me, when looking at this as a trade, and let me look at the speed of Euro ORD, is an 8. So it's a crazy fast pair, which means it's volatile. It looks good, but it's not so much fun when you're actually in it, particularly if it goes, you know, into drawdown, because it's moving so fast. So I'd be looking for it to now continue its move down to here, wait for the alert to come off, and then would I get in if it's done a break? Say it does a break and a retest instead of just a straight rejection up, because here it did a little break and a retest, and then it shot up because it's such a fast pair. So you know, you can't always guarantee it's going to do a nice break and retest. How many pips did it miss the D point there? 4.7, which is a bit big. If it's only missed it by 1 to 2 pips in a $6.6 trillion a day market, then that's fine. I consider it a touch, but that's a little bit off. So actually, it hasn't done a break and a retest of the D point yet. So that may be what it's going to do here. So would I get into the trade? There's the stop loss, and I would have, I'll put the 10 on it. And I always start by putting the 10 to 20, but price will move between levels. So you'd be looking on any trade you take to see it go up to this quarter theory. Quarter theory is just support and resistance drawn at 50 pip increments based on maths, which makes it highly accurate if you want to delve into it, but you don't have to. There's YouTube videos on it. There's a chap called Ilian Yotov who created it. If you want to understand why it's so powerful, you can see here, especially with the pitchfork, there's just one example of how powerful it is. Just rejected off there, couldn't break through the two. So would I want to get into this trade if it does that? Well, it depends where it's in a wedge, it's in a price trap, and I need to move that out the way. Hang on, let me just move that out the way for a minute. We've only got 20 pips, so after your spread and commission, and it's a very fast pair, it's not actually a very attractive proposition for me to get into this. Now, I know it works, and I've seen it work on the banker strategy. Les does it where he and I both did a similar trade. Actually, no, it was a GBP USD in the election. We did the same trade together off the D point. I used my rules and got in later, we both made over 200 pips, but he had got in earlier, highly accurately off his banker's strategy. And I got in off this, but I waited until it had passed the pitchfork and the quarter theory. So it just depends what strategy you're using. For me, I probably, after spread and commission and it's a fast pair, probably not interested in this until it's past that quarter theory, because it's such a fast pair. And there's plenty of others to look at. And if I was in at that point, then I definitely would move that to 15 to cover me on that pitchfork. Okay, so that's Euro ORD. And if it drops down below the pitchfork, I personally wouldn't want to be selling that. I think there's a previous pitchfork there as well, this white one running by that quarter theory. I'll just see where that dates back to, because that should stop it as well. Let me put and then we'll move on to, I was going to move on to look at something else after this. Usually I change the colors of my old ones, so I'm not getting muddled up with the new ones. And I'll fade them out so I don't get confused. Let me just wanted to find where that one is that's running below the current scan. So that is from a D point from February, which, how big was that scan? 552 pips. So a big scan, and it's this might be, if I just do it in bright pink to show you, we can just check if it is accurate. So I'm just looking at the pink one here that's running below quarter theory, and I'm on the 15-minute chart. So just from February there, price hasn't been down in it actually, so it's not a lot to look at. But what I'll do is I'll quickly check back just to see that it has got price touches on the pitchfork, so it hasn't glitched and it is still accurate. So there it is on the, in fact, that's not actually a very good scan, that one. I might take that one off because you can see it failed there. So that's why I checked them. I'm actually going to remove that because it's a failed scan, which I haven't noticed. And it shot right up through stop loss off that D point. So that's why you check back, just to make sure you are still doing the right thing. And I put on the padlock as well as the magnet, so I'm not accidentally, whenever I've drawn a scan, I'll padlock them on anyway, so that you're not, I've had that when I first started, accidentally moving pitchforks off and not even understanding that there was a padlock facility. So that's Euro ORD at the moment. I've set the alert. Come back and have a look if it goes off, and we'll move on to something else. Let me just put that like that. Save that. So what else have I written down? I can't remember why I've written down. I wrote down EURNZD because it's Euro's on bank holiday, and NZD is an Asian session pair. I do like EN. It's a fast pair. Was it on the scanner? No, I didn't have the scan on it. Let's go to the 15-minute, just see where it's sitting, and we can move on to something else. So that was our latest scan, and you can see it did come up to test the extensions, and it's now crossing back down. This is on the 15-minute. So it's now doing what it's supposed to do, and it's come down to the median. So let's come down to the 1 minute. And let's see what we've got here. So at the moment we've got one confirmation, which is the orange below the blue. So one confirmation is saying sell. We've got a pitchfork touch, so that's our mandatory confirmation, so that's good. And we've got a rejection there. So at the moment it's playing between the two. It has hit the median, so we could be looking at this for a buy. Let me just check back. So it's rejected off the 15-minute 3 times off that median, but the orange is below the blue on the 15-minute. So it's in a bit of conflict. And the trend has been down. It still wants to sell, but it's not able to push through the pitchfork. And then there's a price trap. There's a wedge there between the pitchfork and quarter theory of 12 pips. So that's a difficult entry point because, you know, it's got to pass that level, and you can see there it rejected off it. It slipped through because it's a fast pair. It's come up to retest the 15-minute. You'll often find that happens. It's come back down. It's consolidated. It's just ranged, as we call it, ranging across the rest of London. And then now it's making another push down, but it's not breaking through. So if I'm looking at this, I'm probably not interested in this as a buy because there's lots of other things to do. I prefer, you know, if you look at your percentages on your, if you connect up to my FX book, or you'll have the same functionality in CTrader, depending on what you're doing, then look at your percentages, because you will find that you've got a natural bias on whether you're going for sells, which would be a short position, or longs, which are buy. It's quite interesting, and also what pairs you trade. So I think I'm going to set an alert here, and I'll have a look at it. Or shall I set it? Shall I set it above there? Maybe I'll set it above there. Just do that below there. Just do it like that. And so I'll come and have a look at this to see. I'll draw a brush mark on for you. So add alert. And then you can be getting on with other things, whether it's watching Netflix, doing some personal development, gaming, you know, whatever you're doing, you know, just have your phone with you. Come back when you hear the alerts go off. So I'm looking for price to, it looks like it's still coming down. So I want price to, it's either going to go up here and reject down. I want it to do this, so we'll see if it'll do this, something like that. So it'll test that 15-minute. You can see where it's tested it there. It's still in a downward trend. I haven't drawn a trend line on. It just depends what you want to put on, really. I can't really see. I mean, there is a. So you need to be looking at how it's moving. Settings. I'll just take that off, change it to green. I like to have my trend lines in green. Just keeping an eye on time here. I don't think Sharon's trading today. I think I saw that briefly in Discord. Don't know if it's a technical issue. So there's our trend line at the moment. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on there, and it's still coming down. So that's what I'm looking for on this. I don't know whether it's, because it could come up, it could shoot up and fake out on the hour, 10 minutes before the hour. Price does that. So I don't enter trades from 10 to the hour till a couple of minutes past, particularly on fast pairs. So that's EN. That's just kind of what I want to do with it. Okay. And then you'd put on, get your short position. I would want to enter after a break and a retest of, you want 2 confirmations to cover you on your stop loss. So that's ideally what I like, is a trade where I've got pitchfork and quarter theory protecting me against being taken out. And then there's the 20 pip, but price will want to move between levels. Always think when you're in a trade, where's my exit? So my exit is either 20 pips, or I'm looking at this zone here, which is the pitchfork at 1.77585, down to that next quarter theory, 1.77500. And that's how I'm always thinking when I get in a trade. How far can I stretch it? Is it quick? If it's fast money and it drops very like that, fast money, take the money. See that there? Fast money, take the money. As soon as it shot up there, if I'd been in that, I would have been out. I would not have, because it's as fast as it shoots up, it can shoot down just as fast on you on any pair. So that is EURNZD. I'll come over to GA, and the reason for coming over here, was it GA? Oh, I can't remember which one it was now. Which one was it?
I've been looking at GBP NZD. I don't know if that's the
was
one
it? There was one of them where that one, yes, this one, which I posted in the group.
Yeah.
Because this was, and yeah, thanks, Kathy, because this was a new scan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one I said I had analysis paralysis over.
Yeah, well, not. Well,
I've got old scans sitting there as well, so I'm a bit confused.
And it's a very crazy pair. Chance always says it's not his favourite, and that always makes me a bit scared of it, to be honest, because it's it's super crazy. And if you just sit and watch your pairs, you get the feel for the market. And I was sitting watching this after I drew it up, and so we've had two retests of the D point. Then it shot up there, and that is, and we had and we've got a New Zealand bank holiday. So what the hell is it doing? Doing that anyway this morning, because that's over 50 pips, and that's just after the Open of London. There, So there's your Open of London. It's made that big move back down to test the pitchfork. I'm on the 1 minute now. Back up to reject off, but this is why it slips through quite a lot, because it's such a fast, crazy pair. So it's rejecting off quarter theory all the way along there. I even tried to put a fib on it because I thought, well, maybe that would help. So I was looking at it as a buy at this point when I posted about it, and I put the alert on, and that's what I wanted it to do. That's a 10 pip break and a retest, and then take off and carry on its way. But oh no, it decided it would drop below the 62. And then I thought, okay, it's just testing the 15 minute. And then no, it said, I'm going to go right down to the pitchfork. So 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3 rejections off the pitchfork. And now it's deciding to carry on up, and the orange has crossed above the blue again. So what I would like to do with this is remove that. And now you see, I liked that point because I could have got in with both the pitchfork and quarter theory covering me and hopefully helping me not get taken out of the trade. But now, of course, it's moving up into this quite wide gap. So I don't like that. That doesn't really sit very well with me unless I can get a very precise entry. And I'd probably have to move my stop loss out to 17 or 18 because I'd want that pitchfork in my stop loss area. So that, especially on such a fast pair like this. So let me just get rid of that. So let's have a look at what's happening on this at the moment. I'm going to take my alert off because I probably don't want to trade this. Oops, wrong one. I don't want to remove my pitchforks. You can just use that. Use this back arrow on your trading view if you make a mistake and you want to go back. So what have we got? Well, we've got the rejections off the pitchfork again. So that's check, plus a pitchfork touch, check. We've got orange above the blue, check. Have we got any more confirmations for this at the moment? Can't really see a trend line. Can't really see how to put a fib on it at the moment. I suppose we could put one maybe from there to there. So again, you've got to wait for it to come back down. That's all. Fibs are always past the present. And if it's a buy you're looking for, I mean, you want the lowest one nearest to you. So I suppose I might choose that one. And if you get confused with fibs, and I still get confused with them, take them off. That's the recommendation. And don't use them all the time, because they kind of do your head in, and they're always moving. They're always forming new fibs. So buy a buy fib, you want 100% exactly on the end of the wick, whether it's a buy or a sell, and up to there, never on current price. And then you're looking for it to come back to the 61.8 or the 78 or the 88.6, which is your big long extension leg. That's the biggest boomerang. So again, sorry if it sounds like a foreign language, you just need to know their magic numbers that work. And they also help you with profit levels. So 0 is your take profit 1, minus 27 take profit 2, and minus 61.8 take profit 3, or the nearest zone. Like in this case, I might be looking to stretch it above there to that pitchfork, or up to quarter theory. If it passed through there, that would be the next level I'd be looking at. So it's actually a bit difficult for me, this one, because I've drawn it there, but it seems to be taking off. You know, it's such a fast pair. I don't find it a very easy pair. I thought it was going to make that move before, which would have been nice, but it didn't. So I probably won't trade this until it comes up to this point here, because of saying, you know, it's such a crazy pair, and I don't like it that much anyway. So that would be where I would want to trade it. Personally speaking, I would probably avoid it myself. But that's just me personally, though. It depends on your trading style again. You know, you could, I don't know, if you had a bigger, but you can only get away with a 10 pip or 15 pip stop loss if it's exactly on the pitchfork on the 1 minute. That's what enables us to use such a small stop loss. So if you do get in here, say it does that, then you need to get in right on that pitchfork, and you'd have to have about an 18 or 19 pip stop loss to cover you on that quarter theory as well as the pitchfork. Okay. And even then it can still come right down and bite you. So that's everything on GN. What else can we look at, given we've got USD news coming up? We just go back to the scanner. GA, we could look at what's happening on GA. GA's just shot up to test the 15-minute. It's a new scan. It has not hit the median. I'm on the 1 minute. It didn't, well, it did retest the D point. Where are we for time? Last few minutes. If anyone's got any questions, let me know. Or any, I can't see anything in the.
Hey, Sarah.
Hiya.
Yeah, how you doing? So the
Yeah.
EURAUD, were you looking for that to cross the 65 to 1.65? Because it went below it and then it shot up a little bit. So I didn't know.
Yes, that's a good sign. It's on its way up. But my problem with it is it hasn't got a pitchfork touch where it's operating, where price is at the moment. And one of our mandatory rules, one of our rules for any trade we take using pitchforks is it must have price must have a pitchfork touch. Unless, actually, this is a very big scan, isn't it? So it is actually, let me just double check that. 88.90. So actually you can take quarter theory. You can take quarter theory trades if you want to, where it's a very big scan, but normally in conjunction with other confirmations. So I don't always trade that way, but that has done a 10 pip break and retest off quarter theory. So you could do, it is a very big scan. I'm quite a conservative trader in that I do like my pitchfork touch, and I do like 2 confirmations between me and stop loss, you know, but it is turning now. And if we put, well, we could put a fib on this. from that low point to that high point. Let's see if it did come back yet. So it hasn't given us exact touches, has it? Although it's wicked off that 61.8 quite a lot. So I suppose we could consider that suitable, and it's above the 62. You know, it just depends how you want to trade, because with the,
You're trading this on the 1 minute, right?
yes, entry on this strategy is always on the 1 minute, and it's that
Mhm.
that enables you to get away with a 10 pip stop loss. And that's why we do the chart markups like this with the brush strokes, usually a couple of hours in advance, sometimes 6 to 8 hours, let the market settle down, put your alerts, let market come to you. And then when you come on to do your trade, you can confidently press the trigger, because you haven't got to rethink and reanalyze. Oh, what was I looking for? Was I looking for a buy or a sell? Was it going to reject or break and retest? You know, you've got your markup done, and that way you are more kind of on your game, you know, than coming on and having, by the time you've come on and worked all this out, you've missed the move, because you can't get in once it's moved, not usually 4 or 5 pips off the pitchfork, because you will have missed the move, because the pitchfork is the thing that's going to give you that biggest reversal sort of rocket, if you like, you know, off the pitchfork. That's the whole point of using the pitchfork. Yeah,
Right.
does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it's gone up about 8-9 pips since
Yeah,
I
well,
mentioned that across. So
yeah, that's a fast pair, isn't it? Didn't we say that's an 8 out of 10?
it'll be going up and down all day long. So there'll be other times
Yeah.
to get into it.
That's true. We hope. One thing we hate is when it just does that, sticks in consolidation. That's not much fun. That's only moved there. That only moved about 10 pips for about 2 hours. That's no fun. You don't want to get into trades like that. And I don't know why it did that, because that's oh, it's because it's Euro bank holiday, maybe. That could account for it, I suppose. Right, okay, so is there one last one? We're just coming up to the hour. I ought to stop and check the chat, really. I'm going to stop sharing, just see in the last 2 minutes if there's anything else. Here's the chat. Sounds good. Monday setup, Friday back testing. I find the harmonic scanner defaults. Yeah, I find that as well, Brian. UTC +3, I think that puts us in Turkey or Greece or something, doesn't it? Does TradingView allow you to set alerts on the pitchfork lines? Yes, you can set them where you like. Just run your alert along it, or say you wanted to set it on quarter theory. Actually, on quarter theory, it will come up and warn you and say, "Are you sure?" Because this is a you know, I can't remember what it calls it, a continuous line or something. Are you sure you want to set your alert on here? So you can change the angle, set them where you like. So, but you'd have to draw the. Well, should we just go back and have a quick look at that?
I didn't know you could do them on a pitchfork, Sarah.
Let's just have a look. Let's just. There's a pitchfork. So I'm actually on it. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm on the hourly. That doesn't matter. Let's see. Well, okay. Can you do it on quarter? I know you can do it on.
You can do it on quarter theory, yeah.
On quarter theory, so you can't do it on pitchforks then. So
that's why.
To draw the line.
Yeah, you drew the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen Chance do that as well. So.
Yeah. So I've never actually used the pitchfork as an alert, because I like to set them. I like to get the trend line and set it 3 to 5 pips away, and extend it right on the settings. Extend right line into the future. I always have mine in blue. I'm doing this on the hourly. I wouldn't normally keep it on the hourly. So, and at the same angle, and then I've got the got the alert, add alert on trend line. I don't bother writing in the box at that stage. And then the little alarm clock comes up, and I like it on the 1 minute chart, 3 to 5 pips away, which just gives me a little bit of time to come on and do the analysis. Okay, so any other questions? Yeah, okay, Kathy, yeah, you're right. I don't think you can, Brian, you're right, yeah. Okay, everyone, well, we're just on the hour. I hope you enjoyed that session. And if I see any more trades today, I will post them. I haven't done any trading last night or this morning. I've just been setting up some charts. I haven't actually taken any trades yet. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay, bye.
Really good. Thank you.
Good stuff. Cheers.